It all started with a simple invitation, just a message from James. "Few people at mine tonight. You'll love it." James always had a way of making everything sound irresistible. I wasn't in the mood. It had been a long week and I'd planned on staying in. But something in his tone tugged at me. That effortless charm. That subtle pull. I said yes. The elevator doors opened directly into his penthouse. The city glowed behind walls of glass, lights shimmering like stars trapped in glass. Jazz floated through the space like a secret whispered too close. James stood in the center of it all, relaxed, confident, shirt unbuttoned just enough to be suggestive, glass of whiskey in hand. He met me with that smile I remembered all too well, placing a warm hand on the small of my back. "Perfect timing," he said, pressing a drink into my hand. "Come meet the others." That's when I saw Victor. Leaning against the marble bar, broad-shouldered, rugged, undeniably bold. He had a presence, like the kind of man who never asked permission because he never needed to. His smile was playful, a little wicked. Then came Robert. Quieter. More reserved. But his eyes were sharp, knowing. He didn't speak often, but when he did, people listened. The four of us fell into easy conversation. As though it had always been this way, drinks in hand, laughter rising above the music, tension building beneath the surface. James kept the mood light, charming as ever. Victor flirted openly, his eyes undressing me long before his hands ever would. And Robert, he just watched. Not in a way that made me uncomfortable. In a way that made me feel seen. Then James leaned in, mischief curling at the edge of his grin. "Let's play a game," he said, setting his glass down. "No lies. No filters. Just one question." His gaze locked on mine. "If you could spend the night with anyone here, who would it be?" The room went still. 3 sets of eyes. One breathless moment. I laughed, trying to deflect the tension. Why not all 3? A joke. Or at least, it was supposed to be. But no one laughed. James stepped closer, took the glass from my hand. "You always did know how to steal the spotlight," he murmured. Then he kissed me. Slow. Intimate. Deliberate. Behind me, Victor's hands found my hips. "Don't think he gets all the attention," he whispered against my ear, lips brushing the sensitive skin of my neck. And then Robert. Steady. Certain. His fingers grazed my jaw as he tilted my face toward his. His kiss was deep, warm, grounding, like he already knew how I needed to be touched. Each of them so different. James, with his teasing control. Victor, with his raw hunger. Robert, with his quiet depth. They moved around me like they'd done this before. Like they knew how to share. Like they wanted to. Victor slid the zipper of my dress down, slow and reverent. The fabric slipped from my shoulders in a whisper. I didn't shiver, not with their hands and mouths igniting fire wherever they landed. "You're beautiful," James whispered, his lips brushing my neck. Robert's hands traced the length of my arms, then pulled me into another kiss, slower this time. More intense. Victor guided me down onto the velvet couch, his hands steady, confident, while James and Robert flanked me like shadows of warmth. They undressed me gently, not like they were claiming anything, but like they were discovering something sacred. Each kiss, each breath, built into something impossible to contain. Victor's strength, Robert's patience. James's wicked edge. Together, they overwhelmed me. Not in chaos, but in rhythm. Time slipped. Bodies moved. Whispers passed between skin and sighs. And when the moment came, it wasn't just release, it was transcendence. A raw, perfect collision of surrender and connection that shattered everything I thought I knew about intimacy. Afterward, the silence was soft. Safe. Golden. Victor lay beside me, one arm lazily curled around my waist. Robert sat on the other side, his fingers drawing absent-minded circles on my arm. James leaned back against the couch, his gaze on the skyline and then on me. That, he murmured, voice hoarse, was worth the wait. Victor chuckled, stretching. We'd all agree on that. I smiled, breathless. My body still buzzing with sensation. I've never had a night like this, I whispered. Robert kissed my temple. You deserved it. And then came the quiet. But it wasn't awkward or cold. It was full of something unspoken, something shared. A memory that wouldn't fade with morning light. Something deeper than lust. More daring than love. A night that rewrote the rules.